deregulation and killing the agenda of regulating and holding businesses back are going to boost our economy, which he says will benefit all Americans in the form of higher wages.
So, happy days are here again. That's what I say. Got State Representative Kurt Bahr in studio. Kurt, would you be surprised to know that that was not Fox News?
Really? Who was it?
You're not going to believe this, but I have it right in front of me here. That was MSNBC.
Wow.
I guess every once in a while, I guess a broken clock is right twice a day, huh?
That's what they say?
Yeah, so that was MSNBC's Stephanie Ruhle highlighting economic gains and other happy days are here again news under President Trump. It's kind of like they've done nothing but bad fake news for a year and a half that they just kind of ran out of it, so they had to report something real for once.
They had to report the truth.
They had to do reporting, yes,
wow,
about reality, like the fact that we have deregulated the economy, which has boomed it, that we've done tax reform and tax cuts for the first time since Reagan, which has boomed it, that ISIS is on the run, that we're bringing foreign dictators to their knees and forcing them to have summits with us, and so many other good things. But the media would rather talk about the fake news, would rather talk to weird, creepy guys who represent porn stars. I mean, it's just we're in an upside down world, aren't we, these days, Kurt? I mean, you see that in Jeff City too, don't you?
Yes, unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, exactly. So, hey, joining us now is Missouri State Representative Kurt Bahr. And Kurt, I was saying, I don't know if you were listening on the way down, I said, my little Kurt's all grown up. I cannot believe it. I can't believe you just finished your 8th and final regular legislative session.
I am glad to be done, but it flew by. After 8 years, it flew by. Yeah.
How was that experience for you personally?
So this whole last session, I realized this was my last year to try to achieve my legislative agenda that I had been working on, and serve the people of District 102 in St. Charles County. But it was kind of weird in that it was everything that I was doing was, I knew that was my last time for this, my last time to pass the budget, my last time to work on legislation, my last attempt to get some bills passed I've been working on for a number of years. At the same time, I was glad to realize that the freedom was approaching, whereas I could go home and be with my family again. This grind of going back to Jeff City every week and being away from your family, it's grueling, and you do it because you want to serve, but the family takes a toll on it.
You mean you don't sit around there and eat steak and lobster every day and have people feed you bonbons and grapes, like what some of our editorial board writers think?
Usually I'm hoping to get a real meal. Otherwise, I'm looking for like a peanut butter jelly sandwich or a 11 o'clock burger from McDonald's.
Especially those last few weeks, right? Like you all, I'm sure it's still the same way as when I was there 3.5 years ago. It's those last almost month. I mean, you're there in that building, on that floor, answering that bell to go vote, like for 12, 13-hour days.
That we haven't... the last couple of days were definitely very long. We had a few days that were shorter. It was one of those things where either the House was in late or the Senate was in late, but we didn't never seem to both be in late at the same time, which the lobbyists love because they were stuck being there, with one of the houses there.
Well, let's talk. You thought you were done, but you got to go back now because the House and Senate historically called themselves back into a special session for the first time ever in our state's history. And I'm assuming that's to consider whether or not the Governor Greitens should be impeached, right? That's the topic?
That's the topic. And the idea was this issue is something that has to be addressed. And either we have to say he doesn't need to be impeached, or he does need to be impeached, or he needs to be censured. But we had to address the issue. It was simply too big of a news story, too big of an issue. And the idea was, do we deal with it during session and allow lots of good pieces of legislation, a lot of priorities die because it becomes a massive distraction? Or do we call ourselves into a special session immediately after session is over so we can focus on the legislation for the constituents of Missouri during regular session and then deal with this issue afterwards so it didn't become a distraction?
Yeah, and I really defended you all on that because not getting to whether I think or do not think the governor should be impeached or not, but you were being hamstrung by the opposition, whoever that opposition was, the people who hated Governor Greitens, the Democrats. They weren't going to let you get anything done unless you said, okay, here's when we're going to deal with this, right? That was one of the biggest reasons for putting it onto a special session.
Absolutely. As you know, that especially in our Senate, the minority has an incredible power to be able to stop and grind down and halt. They did that last year. Last legislative session, we passed only 74 bills. This year, we doubled that, which is back to the norm of how many bills we typically pass a legislative year. And so there was the threat. If we do nothing, nothing will happen at all legislatively for our constituents or anything else. And so we had to, address the issue. So we decided the special session call was the best way to do it, so that the issue did not become a distraction.
Now, I know you don't have a crystal ball, and nobody does, and nobody knows what anybody's going to do, right? In this, let me ask it this way, because a lot of the listeners want to know: is the fix in on this thing? Is the governor going to get impeached, or do you think there's going to be a wholesale, comprehensive look by the entire House, and they're going to take it that the fix is not in, that they're really going to look at the evidence presented?
Oh, the fix is definitely not in. Jay Barnes, who's leading the special committee, he was one of the first Republicans on Greitens' team early on. So he was a Greitens supporter very early on in Greitens' campaign. Todd Richardson, the Speaker of the House, he was hoping that after the committee looked into the issue, they would say there's nothing there. So everything is
yeah, and I'll say this: there's a lot there, right? The question is, does it fit under? And I know you're a constitutionalist.
Right.
Does it fit under the strict constitutional parameters of a governor committing improper acts, however those are defined in our state constitution, while in office? That's the rule, right?
Well, there's two provisions that are while in office, and then there are several other provisions that aren't stipulated to while in office, and so. There's oppression in office, which was until recently an actual crime under state statutes, and then there was one other provision that was while in office. But habitual drunkenness was not a term that was bound by in office, or moral turpitude is not something that was bound by the phrase while in office. And so there's the argument of do the crimes that deal with a person's character or morality but aren't necessarily deals with legality, are those something that we today want to say those are still impeachable offenses? They're impeachable by our Constitution. The Constitution, because impeachment is not a judicial process. It's not a due process issue. Impeachment is a legislative policy. It is a system where the legislative body can say, you who hold a position of trust, say whether that be governor or another statewide office holder, you no longer have the trust of the people because of your actions. Those actions could be an issue of legality or an issue of personal morality. That's why moral turpitude or public drunkenness or habitual drunkenness, as the Constitution says it, are part of those impeachable offenses.
Now, if folks want to follow along at home as you go through this special session, what is the section in the Constitution that they need to look at and read? Is it Article 5, I thought, or maybe we'll have to look that up in the break.
I'm going to have to look it up to find out exactly where it is. I've read it, but I forgot what the reference.
There is a specific construct in our Missouri state constitution.
Yes, there is.
Okay.
There is.
And that's what we'll be doing. Hey, can I hold you over for the next segment?
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I want to get to now what you all did. I mean, I said earlier on that this was a very successful session. Do you believe it was in your mind after 8 years of being
absolutely.
there?
It was very successful.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about all those successes and everything that this state representative, Kurt Bahr, did along with his colleagues up in Jefferson City. They wrapped it up last week. They're back in special session next week. We're going to continue with Missouri State Representative Kurt Bahr right after this, so keep it right here.
Does your home have sick foundation syndrome? It's an epidemic that's affecting the St. Louis area. Is your home and foundation showing any of these signs? Cracks in walls or foundation, windows and doors sticking, musty odors, wet or damp basement or crawl space. These are all signs of an unhealthy foundation that needs immediate attention before the symptoms get worse. Call the experts at Midwest Basement Tech for a free diagnosis of your home's foundation problems. There is a cure even for the most serious foundation problems. But don't wait, because these problems will only get more costly to cure if they are let go. They offer 24-hour emergency service, and your house call and consultation is free. Let them show you how to get a healthy home. Midwest Basement Tech, a family-owned company, is celebrating their 40th year curing basement and crawl space problems in both Missouri and Illinois, and is offering a 10% discount on all foundation repairs. So call 800-848-9805. That's 800-848-9805. Or visit them on the web at MidwestBasementTech.com. Tell them your home's symptoms, and they'll get you a guaranteed solution. 800-848-9805.
I come from a family that's been in the jewelry industry for decades, so jewelry is in my DNA.
That's Michael Clavina, a jewelry veteran here who left traditional stores to join the team at Diamonds Direct. with more selection than ever and incredibly more value.
So my experience with other jewelers in the area has really given me a lot of appreciation for the strength that I have at Diamonds Direct to really and truly cut out the middlemen and be able to offer them more than they ever expected for their money.
And at Diamonds Direct, Michael says you can always find that one-of-a-kind designer ring, because unlike other places, Diamonds Direct has all the top designers under one roof.
Through my employment with other jewelry retailers, I always had one thing to choose from. I always had one designer to work with, and it was whoever we were using at the time overseas. With Diamonds Direct, I can truly choose the designer that does it the best.
Diamonds Direct, where St. Louis gets engaged.
The value that you get is unprecedented. You will always be taken care of with Diamonds Direct.
Olive and 270 at City Place.
If you think it's scary going to the dentist, just think how your wallet feels.
The dentist?
Because if you don't have dental insurance, paying the bill can be really expensive.
How much?
A simple cleaning can cost over $150, and things like root canals can cost hundreds.
Hundreds?
Even thousands more. Now you can get dental insurance for about $1 a day from Physicians Mutual Insurance Company. For a free information kit with all the details, call 1-800-200-6169. Our dental insurance helps cover over 350 procedures, everything from cleanings and fillings to crowns and dentures. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. Plus, there are no deductibles, and you can see any dentist you choose.
Yay!
So help protect your teeth and your wallet for about $1 a day. For your free information kit, call 1-800-200-6169. That's 1-800-200-6169.
KFTK FM Florissant, KFTK AM East St. Louis, K254CR St. Louis.
Powered by thehomeloanexpert.com.
FM News Talk 97.1.
A target date to end the investigation. I'm Steve Rappaport, Fox News. The Russia investigation could wrap up sooner than later.
The president's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, now says that September 1st could be the day the collusion probe wraps up. In a conversation he says he had with special counsel Robert Mueller, Giuliani says he wanted to know an end date because any face-to-face interview with the president would depend on there being a specific day the investigation would be done. According to Giuliani, Mueller said September 1st, if a conversation could happen by mid-July. Giuliani says September 1st would be enough time ahead of midterm elections 2 months later.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Meanwhile, the president plans to demand the Justice Department investigate claims of an FBI informant spying on the Trump campaign.
The president tweeted earlier, quote, if the FBI or the DOJ, that's the Department of Justice, was infiltrating a campaign for the benefit of another campaign, that is a really big deal. Only the release or review of documents that the House Intelligence Committee, also Senate Judiciary, is asking for can give the conclusive answers. Drain the swamp.
Fox's Molly Henneberg. Gas prices keep going up in the run-up to Memorial Day weekend, the national average rising 10 cents to $3 per gallon.
The squeeze that retailers in the U.S. are suffering suggests that they need a few more pennies at the pump in order to stay in business.
Industry analyst Trilby Lundberg of the Lundberg Survey, which measures gas prices nationwide. Mourners in Texas saying goodbye to one of the 10 people killed in Friday's high school shooting.
A memorial for Sabika Sheikh. She was a foreign exchange student from Pakistan, an honor student, just 20 days shy of finishing her study abroad exchange program here in Texas and returning to her home country and to her family.
Fox's Casey Stiegel in Santa Fe. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling. Weather.
The official FM News Talk 97.1 Weather Center forecast calls for a warm and humid day today with times of clouds and sun. Some rain and a thunderstorm early on today, then a gusty thunderstorm late in the day again, a high of 84. Later tonight, partly cloudy, low 67. Then we dry out tomorrow and Tuesday, partly sunny, 84 again tomorrow, up to 87 on Tuesday. I'm meteorologist Bill Degger for FM News Talk 97.1.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly with thehomeloanexpert.com. When all these other banks and mortgage companies are only open from 9 to 5, 5 days a week, it makes it tough. At the Home Loan Expert Office, we're open 7 days a week till 10 p.m. We're here to save you money. Whether you're looking to refinance, pull out some cash, or get pre-approved for that new home purchase, we work on Saturdays and Sundays when you're available. Apply online today at thehomeloanexpert.com. The Home Loan Expert LLC, Missouri and Illinois residential mortgage licensee.
If you have retirement questions, you can bet Marvin Mitchell probably has the answer. Join him every Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1 for Rethinking Retirement. With his years of experience, Marvin can help take the guesswork out of your retirement planning. Rethinking Retirement is your source for all things retirement, from how current events could affect your savings to strategies to maximize your retirement income and everything in between. Don't miss Rethinking Retirement with Marvin Mitchell every Saturday at 4 and Sunday at 1.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Zero Res, carpet cleaning and furniture cleaning. So here's the deal. I met them a couple years ago and I thought that they were a great company. I talked to Michael, the CEO. He's a fellow lawyer who didn't want to be an attorney and decided way back in law school that he was going to go into the carpet cleaning business. And part of it, quite frankly, just being brutally honest, is that most carpet cleaning businesses suck. You know this because you're a smart human being alive on the planet Earth. So Zero Res is the best. They're very professional. The people are non-scary. They do a really great job of explaining their process of actually just scrubbing your carpets and your furniture, and they do it at the lowest cost. If you mention me, you can get 3 rooms starting at just $129. Call 314-474-2020. That's 314-474-2020, or go online, ZeroResSTL.com. Mention the show for the best deal, ZeroResSTL.com.
We're here at the Trane Heating and Air Conditioning Testing Facility to see how unstoppable their products really are.
Inside this climate chamber, it's raining incredibly hard on this Trane AC unit. Clearly, it's hard to stop a train.
Now through May 31st, bring home unstoppable. Choose special financing for 48 months or up to a $1,000 trade-in allowance on a qualifying Trane system. Visit TraneInfo.com for complete program eligibility, dates, details, and restrictions. Subject to credit approval.
Trane, the most reliable heating and cooling brand.
Rockfest roars in the Kansas Speedway Saturday, June 2nd.
16 bands, 2 stages, 12 hours of non-stop live rock.
5-Finger Death Punch. Ghost.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Vince Neil.
Seven Dust.
I Prevail and many more.
Rockfest is a true music festival.
Find general admission and VIP tickets at rockfestkc.com.
Win the $1,000 political payoff on FM News Talk 97.1.
Where is all this money coming from?
Listen for the keyword weekdays around 40 after from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. for your chance to text in and win $1,000. Prizes awarded each hour to one winner from all national entries. Message and data rates apply.
I also recommend building a nice wall around your wallet.
The $1,000 political payoff.
Make your wallet great again.
Details at 971talk.com.
Where do you think the word wallet came from, right? Believe me.
This hour of the Tim Jones Show is brought to you by Convergent Wealth Management, your lifelong financial advocate. ConvergentWM.com.
This is the Tim Jones Show.
There's a lot of people that have to live their lives like you, John, and work really hard and raise a family. And I'm guessing you're probably doing some or all these things.
You're right on the mark. The Tim Jones Show.
You really don't know what you're talking about right now.
All right.
What he is doing brings tears to the eyes of the Statue of Liberty.
Thanks for being on the Air Force. Got a great show.
This is the Tim Jones Show on FM News Talk 97.1.
Americans are dreamers too.
What are we going to do tonight?
The same thing we do every night, Pinky. Try to take over the world.
Yes, we are. Down here in the massive megawatt, overly ostentatious studios of FM News Talk 97.1, Ken's taking over. The reason you don't hear Ken talk as much is he's the one doing all the work, taking over the world. While I'm Pinky, I'm talking. Ken's the brain, you know. So.
Yeah, right.
That's right. That's right. Hey, welcome to the Tim Jones Show, hour number 2. Always flying by, as it does every Sunday night here from 7 to 9 p.m. Central on FM News Talk 97.1. You can stream us anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. I've done it. I've done it around the world when I've been out of the country. 971talk.com/Tim Jones, at Speaker Tim Jones on Facebook or Twitter. And you can call us, too. 314-241-9797. 314-241-9797. Had a couple awesome guests in the first hour. I'm not just saying that because one of them's still here. He hasn't left yet. I don't know why he didn't leave. He's still here. I don't know. Ken, he's supposed to still...
No, it's all right.
Still here. It's all right. Oh, Kurt's still here.
It's my place.
No, because we weren't done with him yet. I'm teasing. We weren't done with him yet. Hey, Missouri State Representative, he's a short timer, as they say. He's been in the legislature for nearly 8 full years. Kurt Bahr joins us. That's B-A-H-R. B-A-H-R. Kurt Bahr with a B and an H in there. Kurt Bahr. And you can go to his website, kurtbahr.com. Kurt Bahr, B-A-H-R.com. He's running for something else, and we're going to get to that in a second. But Kurt, you look pretty good on paper, my friend. You're a hometown candidate, Air Force officer. Thank you for your service.
Thank you very much.
Air Force small business owner. I know that because you've done some work for me in full disclosure.
I have.
And I've been very happy with it. You were a state rep for 8 years, a constitutional conservative, as I mentioned in the first hour. Kurt, we said the years have flown by, and you're going to be looking to do something else, which we're going to keep. People are going to. This is called a teaser. See, we're not going to tell them what you're doing just yet. They're going to have to listen to us. You and I talk about public policy now, so hopefully they don't fall asleep.
Hopefully not. I'll try to be entertaining.
So, Kurt, I was saying, and you were saying in the break, you were saying it was so funny that being House guys, we always crack on the Senate, right? It never gets old. It's the joke that never gets old, making fun of the U.S. or the Missouri State Senate.
Exactly.
And they were so busy. Being distracted by some of them especially, not liking Governor Greitens. That's probably a light way to put it.
It's a very light way.
Very gentle way to put it. That the House wasn't an enemy this year for once. They couldn't focus on hating too many things at a time. So you all, in all seriousness, and I agree with this. And when I was Speaker, I think we got a lot of good stuff done. But this was one of the most productive sessions in a long time. Maybe since I was there. So. Lots of things this year. What were some of the highlights?
So several of the highlights. One was the tax cuts. Not only did we cut personal income taxes again this year, like we did, I think, was that when you were Speaker?
2014.
Your last year as Speaker, we were able to cut the income tax for the first time in 92 years. We were able to make those numbers go down lower. So we're going to go from 5.9 to 5.5.
That's fantastic.
This year.
That's fantastic.
And then the tax cut that you helped pass through in 14, those triggers going down to 5.1 will get implemented year after year until we hit that 5.1 for the personal income tax side. On the corporate tax cut side, we're going to go from 6.25 down to 4. Making us a much lower taxed state. And as you know, with money walking, we're hoping to invite businesses into Missouri, both in the St. Louis as well as the Kansas City side, so that we can actually attract businesses and grow our economy. With that said, the other thing that we've been working on is regulatory reform.
Can I stop you right there before we wrap up taxes? And so, yes, it is How Money Walks, a nod to my CEO, Travis Brown, who wrote the famous book, How Money Walks. Kurt, at this point, people are maybe going, oh, my God, we're going to be like Kansas. The world is going to come to an end. We're going to have massive budget shortfalls. The sky is falling, Chicken Little. Why is that absolutely patently false?
Well, it's patently false for a couple of reasons. One, on the corporate tax cut side, they eliminated a loophole, a so-called loophole, so that the amount of money that the state's going to realize is going to be relatively the same. So the rate is going to be lower for everybody, and then this loophole will keep it more fair for all businesses in Missouri.
Lower the rate, broaden the base.
Exactly.
So revenue doesn't necessarily go down.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And then on the personal income tax side, well, the interesting thing is nobody ever asked the question, well, is it going to be revenue neutral for the taxpayer? I mean, it's our money that the government's taking, and so the question is, well, what about our money? Now, that being said, we did actually pass through a possible tax increase that will go to the voters, because one thing that they've been trying to figure out is how to fund the roads.
Right.
And so there is a 10-cent gas tax increase that will be on the ballot this year, and so that one will. It goes 2.5 cents per year for 4 years till it gets up to 10 cents. That pot of money will go to fund the highway patrol. Then the gas tax money that funds the highway patrol will go to MoDOT. So it's a weird shell game that we're doing, but it gives highway patrol an extra $20 million a year, and will
And Kurt, we should point out for all the Chicken Littles out there that the 2014 tax cut did go into effect this year.
It did.
And I believe you had more revenue come into the state coffers this year than once again than ever before. Like the revenue has not dropped at all in this state.
No, not since, was it like 2010 or 11?
Yeah, like the recession.
When we had the recession, state revenues went down. But I got elected in 2010. I started serving in 2011. And I've been on budget most of the time I've been in office, and revenue has gone up every year since then. And so the question isn't what do we cut? The question is, what new things do we create,
exactly.
or what programs do we grow?
When I started in 2007, we were around a total state budget of $22 billion. We're up to what,
28.8.
Yeah. So, folks, there's not less revenue coming into the state coffers. There's more programs that the left just can't get enough of because government grows itself, right, Kurt? It just grows itself.
It does.
And you all can only slow the train down so much as the appropriators.
Right. Because to actually cut a program, you think we're destroying civilization as you know it.
Right. Hey, you were gonna jump to another big topic you worked on, which is I think the regulatory burden.
So regulatory burden. So one of the things that we were able to do this year is remove a simple licensure. So Missouri has, I forget, it's like well over 30 different licensures for different businesses, but one of them is hair braiding.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be an African hair braider and you want to just braid hair, that's all you do is your business. You have to, under current Missouri law, you have to get a cosmetology degree, which is like 4 years of training. So we simply said, if you're going to be a hair braider, then all you have to do is watch a safety video and do one other small little tiny, safety thing, and then you can braid hair.
You would think common sense, but
you would think common sense.
Government freaks out when you talk about making people jump through less hoops,
and
right?
You would think that we were going to cause every person in the state to become bald and have some sort of chemical burns on their head because of hair braiding. It was absolutely amazing. But the other thing we did in that piece of legislation is we also said, okay, for any new regulations for licensure, we have to do the regulations in the most restrictive way possible. And there has to be proof, there has to be some way to show this level of regulation is necessary to provide for public safety. And so we don't want the next hair braider group to say, oh, we have to have this regulation so that we can protect the people. But really, most of these regulations, these licensures, become a way for the existing business owners to protect themselves from new competition.
Well, and don't take your word for it. All we got to do is listen to MSNBC. We played in the first clip in the last hour. MSNBC's Stephanie Rule said deregulation and tax reform for the nation is sure. She seemed to be saying it has resulted in economic boom. So why not? Shouldn't Missouri state government doing the same thing?
And that's what we're trying to do this year. And I know that we've been working on these pieces of legislation year after year. And so this is the year that we got it done. So, while the number of bills that we passed this year is about average for a typical legislative year, the content of these bills is definitely bigger. Things like tax cuts and regulatory reform and even a school choice issue is something that we were able to get done this year that we've been working on year after year.
Last thing, labor reform. I know some big things got moved across the finish line in the last couple of weeks.
Yes. So the right to work vote got moved to the August ballot. And then we did paycheck protection for public sector unions. And then
recertification, right?
And then recertification, exactly. So every 3 years.
That's what Governor Walker did in Wisconsin.
Yes, exactly. And so the idea is that it's a term limits for the union contract. So that way, every 3 years, the union members can say yes, there's value here, or no, there's not, as opposed to voting once and then 50 years later, the same institution, the same union, still running the show without anybody being able to say, hey, you know what, maybe a different union or not having a union would be better for the employees in this business.
Very weighty stuff. Hey, we got a caller here. Rick has a question for us. Rick, good evening. Welcome to the Tim Jones Show.
Thank you, Tim. Yes, I have a question pertains to access for flying. There had been some legislation that's being considered that at this point, the state of Missouri, the TSA, no longer recognizes Missouri driver's license for ID to access vehicle or flights, thereby requiring people to get passports. Was any legislation done on that?
Okay, yeah, Kurt. What's the? Yeah, hey, Rick, I'm gonna let you go so you can listen offline. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much. And here we go. We'll ask Kurt that question. Yeah, Kurt, what's the status of the whole I can't remember. Now, I just flew last week, and I used my driver's license. Did we get another extension, or what happened?
We actually fixed that last year. So
okay.
So here's what happened. Missouri and 8 other states were the first to get a waiver from the federal government. So we were one of the first states whose waiver came up, so it became an issue for us where it wasn't an issue in other states. And so what we did last year is we passed legislation that simply said that if you wanted to have a Real ID compliant ID, you can do that.
This was a federal government requirement.
This is a federal government
being placed
requirement.
on the states.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. Or if you simply want to have a state ID, that's not a driver's license, but simply a state ID that is Real ID compliant, you can also get that. And so we were able to kind of do a side-by-side situation where if you wanted a driver's license that was not Real ID compliant because you thought that was an invasion of your personal privacy as a Missouri resident, you had that choice. If you were more concerned about not having a passport to fly and you wanted a Real ID compliant license, you can also have that. And so in Missouri today we have both, and each resident gets to choose which ID they want to have.
Great. Rick, great question. Thanks for calling in on that. Hopefully that clarified it for you. Kurt, last thing I want to ask you, you've decided to continue your public service, which I think is a great idea. What are you doing next?
So this August, I'm running for Director of Elections in St. Charles County. I want to be the election authority in my county. So now that session is over, I'm in the race to run and replace the retiring election authority.
Okay, so open seat.
Open seat.
And so if folks want to get more information on that, where do they go?
My website, kurtbahr.com, KURT.BAHR.com. Twitter is at Kurt Bahr, and then Facebook is also Kurt Bahr.
Kurt Bahr, very simple. You keep it simple so voters can find you. I think people have always been able to find you. You've been one of the most successful representatives I've seen. I'm not just saying that. I think you've done an excellent job. I hope you get to continue your public service. We'll have you back maybe a little closer to the election when people kind of start thinking about voting in August. That's probably a lifetime away for most folks, but I think it's great you were able to tell us tonight. Kurt Bahr is running for Director of Elections in the great county of St. Charles, so keep posted for that. Kurt, thanks so much for coming down here tonight. Oh, and I should mention, your lovely wife is with you tonight as well. I wanted her to do all the talking because it might be more pleasant to speak with her, but you were okay tonight.
I appreciate that.
Well, you all have a great night. Thanks for coming down, and we'll have you on again soon. That's Kurt Bahr. This is Tim Jones. We'll have Keith Carmichael next, talking about the Convention of States. Missouri passed that last year, so Keith's going to tell us, kind of give us the national update. What the heck is the Convention of States? Where is it going? What will it mean for the nation if it passes? Keith Carmichael up next on The Tim Jones Show here at FM News Talk 97.1.